This wasn't the video I was planning to make this week. However, when I was loading up the EA launcher to play The Sims 4, I noticed that it's almost been 10 years since it released, and subsequently, 10 years since I've had this game. It got me wondering, after all this time and after all these hours spent playing the game, is The Sims 4 a worthy sequel to the franchise? The Sims 4 was officially released to PC gamers on the 5th of September 2014, and in November of that same year I got my hands on it as a belated birthday present. However, I was quite literally an illiterate child who only had access to my dad's PC at the time to play this, so there was some ups and downs to my understanding of how PC games worked. So I made haste into their cold loft space where the family PC sat, and got to simming. Now, for some context, I was introduced to the Sims franchise from a Cake Boss episode, which I can no longer find. It was sort of a promo thing. I don't actually know the lore behind it. If there is lore behind it, here it is on screen. And after getting a few ads on some Ihascupquake Minecraft videos for The Sims 4, I decided to ask my parents for the game as a birthday present. But I thought I was being so mature telling them I was happy for them to get the gift later on as they were struggling with money. And so I got it in November. Even though I could have bought the game from the old Origin launcher, rest in peace my sweet prince, I got a CD copy of the game. I sit down every night in that cold loft space for the entirety of November, freezing my ass off, playing The Sims until my bedtime. Those were the days where I'd make Sims that didn't look anything like me or my friends and have them get into complex relationships with each other in townies, and pretended they actually cared about me more than they actually did. I'd pick a base sim like this for myself and make my friends the most generic white people possible. Again, this is definitely not what I look like now or 10 years ago. Also, that's a fucking woman. I'd use this house always, adding rooms onto it until the lot was too full and it was like a maze to get from one place to the other. Though I always hated multi-story houses in The Sims, and I still do, so I just shove one attic room up there and put my least preferred child in that room to suffer. In short, I played the game as it was meant to be played. A simulator of normal life. But I'm not a normal person. I don't want this socially prescribed Sims lifestyle. So I tried to make most of what The Sims 4 offered in regards to different playstyles, trying to separate myself from a toxic kind of lifestyle that I didn't want or have. Yet The Sims 4 didn't support that idea. Back in 2014, it was bare bones. No expansion packs to add your furry little friends to the game, no werewolves or established modding community, no open world, no world-based events like sales or neighbourhood social developments. It really just felt like it was you and your Sims. So what did I do? Come Christmas of 2014, I had retconned my devotion to The Sims 4 in favour of buying The Sims 3 with the Pets expansion pack. My parents weren't impressed by this, assuming I was a bit bratty and misled for wanting to go backwards instead of buying a sequel of a game, but I persisted and I got my hands on The Sims 3. For the rest of that year, I barely touched The Sims 4, favouring the lively and in-depth world of The Sims 3 instead. I would usually only play on Appaloosa Plains or Sunset Valley, and back in the day I would play out my dreams as being an equestrian and owning horses and all these cats. For a child to throw aside a game in favour of its superior prequel, it says something about the game. Of course, as time went on, EA couldn't withhold having DLC from their games, so they released their first ever expansion pack for The Sims 4. Released on the 5th of March 2015, Get to Work was extremely enticing to me. Not because I wanted to play as my Sims at their job, but because I could open my own business. As someone who then dreamed of drawing and selling my furry creations as a popufur. God, did I really just say that? It was nice to begin to live out my dream, digitally. As I mentioned before, The Sims 4 lacked the freedom of having a non-prescribed lifestyle, aside from playing as a gold digger of course. Now I can break away from that and become a successful business owner. I was a little bit later than everyone else to getting the game, getting it in October instead of March, but hey, it relit my interest in the game. And that lasted 3 days. I didn't have a desire to play the actual get to work aspect of it, so I'm a bit biased in that respect, but still. I'd also like to mention that I missed the hamburger cake. I can't get it in my game anymore after 2016, it just disappeared. I bought the deluxe edition, for fuck's sake, give me the burger. As I became less illiterate and I was able to read text on my computer, I'd go between playing The Sims 3 and The Sims 4 on my own laptop. That was until I put a magnet to my laptop in 2016 and fried the motherboard. I eventually got my own gaming PC in 2017, very low entry gaming PC, but a gaming PC nonetheless, which could run modded games on it. I added some custom content as well as script mods, and it broke my game multiple times, but hey, I was starting to enjoy playing The Sims 4. 3 years later. Only because I could slaughter people as my furry characters and steal their money. Yeah, that just makes me sound like a psychopath. I really wanted city living, and I still do, but I just never got around to buying it. And I never bought any other packs for The Sims 4 until Cats and Dogs came out, which was, and I still am, disappointed with. I might get seasons, but probably not. Anyway, I ended up buying seasons for The Sims 3 2 years ago, and I really loved the naturalism it added. But at the end of the day, all those years later, I still feel like The Sims 3 is far superior. Maybe not graphically, diversely, or modding wise, but it still allows for that freedom of doing what you want, where you want, how you want, and being an utter cunty bitch whilst doing so. The Sims 4 feels like it needs mods to survive. Meanwhile, I've only played The Sims 3 with basic mods installed, mainly because of that sexy create a sim they have. It may not be the best graphically, but it fits The Sims style. The Sims 4 doesn't. The Sims 3 is the only Sims game I have played normally since my first time playing The Sims 4. Because it's fun. With The Sims 4, I go and play it for shits and giggles. I go to it for mods and weird stuff. It's great for living out my catboy and robot fantasies, which is why I bought the university pack, by the way. I know it's not normal, don't ask me about it. The Sims 4 feels like a mashup fan project that got revived after 6 years of doing nothing, whilst The Sims 3 has intention, passion, and thrives. At some point I'll probably go back and buy Supernatural Into the Future, because I love The Sims 3 as The Sims 3. The Sims 4 I love for its amazing modding community and the fun shit that comes along with it. Let's look at another game that I've been playing since the days where I couldn't read a digital screen. Minecraft. I can absolutely play any version of vanilla Minecraft, even though I love modded, especially 1.12.2. I don't think Minecraft needs mods to survive, but it has built upon the community in a way that Mojang never has. But that's a whole nother topic. What about games like Gmod? Well, they're not really comparable. The game was built for mods, it's in the damn name. But what separates games like Minecraft or even RimWorld for The Sims 4 is that modding is not the saviour of the game. When your game needs basic quality of life mods to even play or even make your characters look good because your style isn't good, you know something is wrong. I know there was issues pre-release that utterly plagued the game, and you can tell even 10 years later it still has its issues. And it shows. I wish EA built off of The Sims 3 instead of trying to do a revolutionary thing on their own. The Sims 2 built off of the first Sims game, and 3 expanded off of 2. And 4? Well, it's EA's world now, not Max's. It makes me worried for The Sims 5 and any other Sims game that could come out from EA. Paralives or any other Sims game kind of project isn't something I'm too bothered by, unless it tops The Sims 3. I have my messy Sims 4 for drug-fueled adventures, but The Sims 3 game, I play it for The Sims, not the mods. So unless it can top that, I'm not bothered. This is just one of my spur-of-the-moment videos based off of my own experiences with the game franchise, but I don't hate The Sims 4, it's been there to help me develop myself and my passions. I do art commissions now, a bit like my painter Sims who sold their paintings in shops. I have a passion for interior design which I tried my best to replicate in my own properties. The Sims 4 Create a Sim has helped me make my human characters come to life, which I can then use as reference for drawing. And most of all, The Sims 4 helped me express my identity when I couldn't outwardly do so. My Sims stopped being weird female renditions of myself, morphing into a gamer girl for a short period of time, and then becoming me. A guy. The Sims 3 doesn't have any of the above. I don't like the interior style of things in The Sims 3. It's dated and it just looks bad most of the time. But even as a child, I knew this wasn't a worthy sequel. It did too little in so many places and too much in others, leaving a half-baked taste in my mind that didn't go away until I started heavily modding The Sims 4 in 2018. and some things were just not okay, such as the lack of skin tones or preferences, things that make your Sims feel like you, in each and every way, that The Sims 3 was able to do with a simple colour wheel. It pisses me off that they have only just recently been addressed. For a game that came out in 2014, how bad was it to just add these things 8 years ago instead of a couple of years ago? Ultimately, I feel as if The Sims 4 is an unworthy sequel to a legacy that I never got to experience firsthand. Thus, I and many others have reverted back to the old games to fulfill the thirst of Sims content. Meanwhile, The Sims 4 acts as a comedy drama rendition of its predecessors. I hope you enjoyed this video, and a happy 10-year anniversary to the game that couldn't even add hamsters to the cats and dogs expansion pack, let alone horses. I'll see you all next week.